أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمد ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Surah Al Ahzaab ayah number 31 to 34 وَمَنْ يَقْنُتْ مِنْكُنَّ لِلَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ And whoever of you devotedly obeys Allah and His Messenger وَتَعْمَلْ صَالِحًا And she has also performed righteous deeds we will give her reward twice. Nutiha ajraha marratain. Here, reward will be double also. Double meaning compared to the reward of the other people. وَأَعْتَدْنَا لَهَا رِزْقًا قَرِيبًا And we have prepared for her noble provision. The wives of Prophet ﷺ, they are role models for all of us, an example for us women. And we see over here that when someone is in a position like that, where they are an example for others, then greater the responsibility, greater the sacrifice, and greater the ajr. So here, their sacrifice is great and their ajr also great. So we see over here that the wives of Prophet ﷺ, they were not just ordinary women. They were not just wives of Prophet ﷺ. They were also muallimat. They were also teachers. Especially we look at Aisha radiallahu anha. She also taught others. So many people learn from her. So many hadiths about Prophet ﷺ personal life, his akhlaq, his mode of ibadah, his night worship. We learn about that from whose narration? Narration of Aisha radiallahu anha. So we see that where she was the wife of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, her sacrifice was huge, her position was huge, and because of that, her reward, inshallah, will also be huge. Because we see that wives of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they willingly choose akhirah. They sacrifice their dunya. They let go of the comforts of this world. They bore the hardship in the life for the sake of Allah. They, in this deen, they experience hunger, thirst with Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It wasn't easy though. Aisha radiallahu anha said that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away while in one day he did not even have oil with bread twice. Like, having twice, it's a luxury. And we think we should have 3-course meal. No. Meaning he could only afford to have it once. Prophet ﷺ spent so many days of his life just surviving on what? 2 black things. What are they? Dates and water. Just imagine if for suhoor we have just dates and water, what would we think of ourselves? We pity on ourselves. Oh, just this much, and we keep on reminding ourselves, oh, I'm just having this. But Prophet ﷺ on days on ends, he would only have dates and water to live on. And what do you think about his family? What do you think about his wives? What do they eat? What he ate? Because they live within him. They sacrificed along with him. They experienced fear and danger with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They even traveled with him. And we learn that they supported Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in every kind of difficulty. Even though they were given a choice over here that if you want to, you can leave. If you want, you can leave. Imagine they were given this choice, but they choose Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They choose Deen. They did not leave Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even though they were given the choice, when they choose the Akhirah, then Allah has promised great reward for them. And Allah promised a great reward, great compassion for them. See, وَمَنْ يَقْنُتْ مِنْكُنَّ لِلَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَتَعْمَلْ صَالِحًا نُؤْتِهَا أَجْرَهَا مَرَّتَيْنِ وَأَعْتَدْنَا لَهَا رِزْقًا كَرِيمًا And whoever of you stay obedient to Allah and His Messenger and acts righteously, we shall give her twice her reward, and we have prepared for her a prestigious provision. a noble نُوتِهَا أَجْرَهَا مَرَّتَيْنِ وَآتَدْنَا لَهَا رِزْقًا كَرِيمًا. A noble provision, because the fact is that when a person chooses Allah over everything else, when a person chooses deen and dunya over dunya, when a person chooses akhirah over dunya, then Allah will not waste his sacrifice or her sacrifice. Allah will not waste the efforts of his abd servant. And especially for a woman, for her to sacrifice the luxuries, the comfort of this world, it's very difficult. But we can do it. Like Azwaj Mutahhara, they did it. Why not us? You know, as women, how much we desire nice clothes, how much we desire nice comfort, houses, linens, curtains. I mean, all of these things, what are the weakness of women? Men, do they care? Isn't it? They don't. What they care, many times it doesn't make a difference to them whether the dishes are matching or not, right? Whether everything is going with each other or not in terms of color, in terms of everything else, they really don't care. But for women, this is really a weakness. And the thing is that the more a woman desires these things, the more time and attention and money she devotes to the matter. Isn't it so? Like for example, if you want a particular curtain on your window, what are you going to do? Are you just going to go to one store? No, you're going to check online. You're going to look at the fabric stores. You're going to go from one store to another where the best deals are. If you can, you would even go to the States to buy one, right? Now look at the time and attention and focus that is being devoted to these things. If a woman is focusing on all of these things so much, then where do you think she can give attention to deen, to the Quran? So for women who really chooses that, yes, I want to really use my life to serve Allah, I want to use my life to serve deen of Allah, then she really has to make a conscious decision to really put her house second in the priority, to put her comfort second in the priority, and put Allah, his deen, the akhirah first priority. And this is no easy decision for a woman to make it. It's really not easy. For example, like when we see our mother, how she is, like when we grow up, like I used to watch her, how the things with her, and we try to help her, and then we learn so many things, like these are the things we learn automatically. If she's praying on time, and how she does wudu before time, and she makes sure that everything on time, these are the things we learn from our own home. And you see, the thing is, we have to detach ourselves from these things. For women is extremely difficult, but unless we make the decision, like cutting off from the worldly things. I'm not saying the completely cut off, but where we can save our time. We really cannot go forward in the way of Allah. I mean, for a woman to pursue her career also is important, her children is important, everything, but in moderation. Sometimes we go on extreme. We want our career and we want best of the best, and in that we lack so many things. I'm not saying let your houses turn into garbage dumps. No, what I'm saying is detach yourself from these things. Otherwise, like you can do moderation. Keep your home clean, make good dishes in moderation. Nobody is stopping you. Otherwise, if we are using quality time over there, what about other things? If you're cleaning also, it's a part of ibadah. Like cleanliness is a nisf iman, isn't it? But in a moderation, like the whole time you want to make sure even a small stain shouldn't be there. By the time of prayer time comes, and when you pray, you're so tired. Oh, I'm not able to, you're not able to do sujood, you are not able to do ruku. You understand what I mean? So, I mean, if the wives of Prophet ﷺ did not cooperate with Rasulullah ﷺ, could he convey the deen? Could he teach the people? Could he go out in the way of Allah? Jihadi fi sabilillah. Could he travel for months on the end in order to defend the religion of Allah? Could he? He couldn't. He needed that support from his wives, that cooperation from his family, and this was the family that consciously choose the akhirah over the dunya. And what are we doing? We have deen, but what do? We put Quran away, we put deen away, and we choose dunya over deen. But we don't say that, but actually, accidentally or without knowing, it happens. But the one who sacrificed this dunya for akhirah, Allah promises them, نُؤْتِهَا أَجْرَهَا مَرَّتَيْنِ وَآتَدْنَا لَهَا رِزْقًا كَرِيمًا. We have prepared for her a noble provision. Ayah number 32. Ya Nisa in Nabi. O wives of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you're not like any other woman if you observe taqwa, righteousness. So do not be too soft in your speech, lest someone having disease in his heart should develop fancies about you. And do speak with appropriate words. So here, Ya Nisa, O wives of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you are not like anyone among women. If you fear Allah, then do not be soft in speech to men. Meaning, your status is not like that of any other woman, right? Why? Because you see, the wives of Prophet ﷺ, they were role models for the rest of the women. At the same time, being the wives of Prophet ﷺ, being generally their interaction with men was greater, because many people came to house of Prophet ﷺ looking for him, intending to speak to him, asking about he was right. Especially being the wives of Prophet ﷺ, they were in the public eye. So over here, Prophet ﷺ are asked that you need to become more careful in your speech. So here we see in ayah number 32, Surah Al Ahzaab, they were asked to be careful when they speak to mahram. Ya nisai nabi lastunna. O wives of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ka ahadim min nisai inis taqaytunna fala taqdana. You are not like any other woman. You observe taqwa, righteousness. And so do not be too soft in your speech, lest someone having disease in his heart should develop fancies about you, and do speak with appropriate words. So over here, the wives of Prophet ﷺ asked that you need to become careful in your speech. When you speak to men, when you talk to men, then how do you have to be careful in your speech? Do not be too soft as if inviting for further conversation. No. Don't invite for further conversation. Do not be soft. It doesn't mean harsh and rude. No. It just means be straightforward, to the point. Focus on what you have to say and get that conversation over with. And this is something that we all need to look at when we interact with men, non-mahram I'm talking about. Whether they may be people in our class or people at our work, or they may be our teachers, even from where we learn, whether we go to masjid, wherever it may be, whoever it may be, our neighbors, how it we speak to them. Are we too giggly with them? Are too soft with them? Are we talking to them as if we are talking to our husband? No way. Or our brother or children. We need to be careful over here. The wives of Prophet ﷺ are instructed, فَلَا تَقْدَانَ بِالْقَوْلِ, and the same and even more so goes for us, lest he is on whose heart is disease with covered, but speak with appropriate speech, meaning the person in which whose heart is some fitna, some disease, all right? And every person suffers from some kind of disease in his heart, in that sense that every man is a weak, right? Every man is weak, especially when it comes to women. He is weak. There is the weakness in his heart. So Allah says that such a person might cover it, meaning he might desire, he might keep some expectation of you, right? So don't even allow that. How do you do that? By speaking correctly. وَقُلْنَا قَوْلًا مَعْرُوفًا. How speak that which is good, speak that which is needed, which is essential. What is just enough, clear and precise. There is no need to be very friendly, very humorous, giggly, talking about one thing after the another. That is unnecessary. No. Be to the point, be clear, be concise, and be good, meaning you don't have to be harsh over there. قُلْنَا قَوْلًا مَعْرُوفًا. What we learn over here is that a woman herself needs to put her guard on right, because sometimes we say, I'm covered, what else do I need to do? No, you cover yourself, you also guard your speech, your manner of interaction, your manner of engaging with the people of the opposite gender. You have to do that. Why? Because perhaps our speech will cause fitna in their heart of another person. And this could even be through the hijab and niqab, by even with the niqab this can be. It's not enough to just to put a cover, but to put something on and speak very nicely to men as if you're joking to your own brother. No, it's not so. Even though you call them brother, but they are not your own brother, isn't it? Now you have to be careful. And by the way, yes, they are your brothers in Islam, but not your own brother. So there has to be a distance over here. And notice how the wives of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I mean, they are being told who are these men who would come to them. These were the Sahaba. And so don't think when you are talking to a man who has a very nice beard and has the Quran memorized and also leads Salah and the masjid, and masjid and gives a khutbah, or is he's got some position in mosque or in some organization, and so their heart is very pure. No, they are normal human beings. Even though if they are scholar, they are Nozbillah, they are not prophet, isn't it? They are human being after all. So you have to be careful. Save yourself and save them, right? Remember, control is within you. This is so empowering. The control is with you. It's about how you speak. You can either lead a man to fitna or you can keep him in his place, right? By how you speak to him. So be careful how you speak. So let's move to ayah number 33. 33, we see here, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَ تَبَرُّجَ جَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى. Remain in your homes and do not display your beauty as it used to be displayed in the days of earlier ignorance, and establish salah and pay zakah and obey Allah and His Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Allah only intends to keep all sorts of filth away from you. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمْ رِجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. O member of the family of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and to make you pure through a perfect purification. So when we see وَقَرْنَا فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَ تَبَرُّجَ جَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى, and abide in your homes and do not display yourself, was the display of the former times of ignorance. The fact is not just for Azwajul Mutahhara, but for all women. It is essential that they make their homes their real centers. What is this ayah means? Basically, here women are being discouraged from being out in public, in the eyes of people, going around in busy areas unnecessarily. This doesn't mean that a woman just remain inside her house always and all the time. No, she may go, but when she does go, she should not go out dressed in a way that she dressed in her house. You understand? This doesn't mean that a woman is not allowed to go outside. She can go, but she should not go out in a way that she draws attention to herself. How? By dressing up in a particular way, or by speaking, by carrying herself in a particular way. No, she should refrain from tabarruj. But what is tabarruj? Tabarruj is from buruj, And Buruj, we heard this like when we go to Dubai, Buruj. So here, Buruj is a tower, all right? When you drive into a new city, before you even enter the city, what do you see from far? Do you see where the downtown is? Why is it that? You recognize instantly where the downtown is. Why? Because you see the tower, right? So from far, the tower, the building, noticeable. This is tabarruj, that the woman displays her adornment openly, highlighting herself, bringing attention to herself, that her makeup, her hair, her clothes, her shoes, her fragrance, everything is drawing attention to her. And remember, tabarruj is just not in the physical sense, meaning how a woman dresses up, but it also in her style of walking. Sometimes the pretense of walking and or making a sound, in her style of carrying herself, even her talking and her interacting with others, it should not be such that it draws attention, because sometimes it happens the women are covered, like when they are completely covered from head to toe, all right, big jilbab, everything is covered, but the way the arms are, hanging, the way they are talking to each other, being so frank in the open and slapping each other, giggling, making fun, all like on the shoulders and giggling out in the open. I mean, this is also something that draws attention. So I'm not saying like, in the everybody is there, all women are there, that's okay. But you are in the public place and na mahram is there and everybody is watching. I'm talking about that. So remember, it's all about your attitude, right? It's not about a physical cloth only. Yes, the cloth is important, the hijab is important, but in addition to that, we also need to see how we carry ourselves out in public. Are we drawing unnecessary attention? Like for example, is a woman is constantly on phone talking so loudly and giggling. I mean, of course, people are going to wonder what is she talking about. Forget a woman, any person, isn't it? Even if it is a man, even if it's a man, if they are talking like that, even everybody is going to be, everyone attention will be towards them, isn't it? So woman who has to be careful, especially when it comes to this matter. Likewise, for her to come in public, and she has adorned herself, is also something incorrect, because Allah says, "Wala tabarrujna." Don't do tabarruj. And for this tabarruj, you don't really need to step outside of your house. These days, you don't have to go out into the mall. These days, you don't have to go and work in a TV station or like a TV show or something like that. No. All of you need to do is take a photo and put online. That's the tabarruj. This can be done even from your phone. Tabarruj can be done through your phone today, even through your like in small gadgets, like it can be phone or iPad, whatever it may be. So we have to be careful that whatever we are doing, are we displaying our adornment in a way that we are attracting attention. All right, like putting on different social media sites and displaying ourselves. I had this thing and that thing. What for? To whom we are showing? This is tabarrut. This doesn't mean that a woman has to be covered up and she has to like becoming unknown in society. I'm not saying that. No, you can be known, you can be well known, your name can be famous, people can benefit from good that you have to offer, just like Aisha radiallahu anha. But it doesn't mean that you do it in a way that Allah disapproves of it. Do not cross the limits. Tell me, Aisha radiallahu anha, was she famous? Of course. Did people come to her asking her questions, seeking knowledge from her? Yes. But do we learn that she's sitting outside, on top of the member and all the men are sitting in front of her? This is how she's teaching? No. Did she do that? No, she didn't. She didn't do that. Why? Because for a woman, remember, she can bring benefit to the community even while observing this ahkamat. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed for her, because when a woman put herself out there, then she displays her adornment, her beautification, highlighting herself outside in the public eye, then what happens? She's inviting fitna for herself. I mean, you don't know. Excuse me. So you don't know, like revealed for her, because when a woman put herself out there, when she displays her adornment, her beautification, highlighting herself outside in public eye, then what happens? She's inviting fitna for herself. I mean, you don't know how people are looking at you. You don't know what they are thinking of you. You really didn't know. So it's best that you protect yourself. And notice over here what has been mentioned, that refrain from tabarruj of the former times, of the times of Jahiliyyah, meaning the time before Islam. Remember, Allah does not like tabarruj of a woman. He does not like it when a woman displays herself. Prophet ﷺ said, do not ask about the destruction of three types of people: a woman whose husband is absent, taking care of all her worldly needs, and she displays her adornment behind him, meaning that her husband is not around. All right, so what happens? She goes around outside displaying her adornment, right? She's taking advantage of that, seeking attention of other people, seeking attention of other men. You see, this is a fitna for women. All right, men, what is the fitna? The sexual desire. What is the woman's fitna? What is a woman fitna? Being noticed, right? Adorning themselves, displaying their beauty. I mean, it's amazing. You go to any party just looking at the length. So which woman will beautify themselves? Isn't it amazing? How long does it take guys to get dressed up? How long? Not very long. All they need to do is just put their clothes on. Khalas, maximum put a watch on it or put something, that's it. But for women, yani every part of the body, from eyelashes, eyebrows to the eyelid, cheeks, yani every part of the body, this is a test for women. You understand? It's not haram, it's just a test, that how do you fulfill this need of yourself in a lawful way? How do you do that? That is the test. We see very few women who do tabarruj will make it to paradise. Prophet ﷺ said in hadith, we learned that in Musnad Ahmad, that once Umar bin Khuzaima, he said, we were in journey, we were traveling for Hajj or Umrah with the Umar bin As radiallahu anhu, and when we reach a place near Makkah, which is Marzaharan, a woman was sitting on her camel and her hand was on the saddle. Her hand were on the saddle, and Omar bin As radiallahu anhu, he changed his direction, he went another way. So we went along with him, and he said that once we were with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam here in the same place, then we saw a few crows, in which was a white crow also, whose beak and feet were red. So imagine black crows, and in them is a crow that is all white. Just the feet and beak are what? They are red. Prophet ﷺ said, in Jannah, only such women will enter who are like this crow among this flock of crows. Meaning, very few, rare, because majority of the women, they fall in this fitna, don't they? Many of us do that. Even while wearing hijab, what happened to us? We forgot our etiquette. When we are in front of men, the way we talk, we laugh, the way we chat with them, as if they are full of, uh, you know, they like they are not mahram. And the way we talk, we keep forgetting to whom we are talking. Prophet ﷺ said, none that in Jannah, only such women will enter who are like the crows among their flocks of crows. Meaning very few. Hassan al-Basri, he said, the lady who was sitting, because of whom Umar bin As changed his direction, she had in both her hand rings and adornment, meaning her hands were decorated, all right, and she had put both her hands out. So you imagine, like nails with paints, like nail polish and rings, henna, whatsoever, then of course they are deliberately being shown and then they are displayed outside. This is what tabarruj. That here my hands are decked out and all I can show. So here you go, right? This is sad. I mean, we are wearing hijab and the part that is exposed, we highlight that even more. Then we are doing more tabarruj. You understand? Because if everything is covered and only part which is shown is highlighted, is decorated even more, then what is going to happen? It is going to attract even more attraction. So remember, zina has to be covered instead of being displayed in front of men. We have to be very careful about this. So when a woman has to go to public place, then what is it that she has to do? She has to cover her zina. I mean, a hadith, they don't tell us that a woman has to leave zina. I mean, Aisha radiallahu anha, she is going with Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on a journey. And that journey, the Sahaba are going to fight a battle. And Aisha radiallahu anha, what does she take with herself? A necklace. I mean, seriously, how often do we wear necklace under our hijab? Like, honestly, it's rare, right? Because it gets stuck in the hijab and everything. I mean, generally we like to take these things off when we have to have our hijab on for a whole day. But imagine Aisha radiallahu anha is going on a journey and she is borrowing a necklace so that she looks nice. This is something natural within the woman's nature. But when you go out in public place, when you are coming in the attention of men, they have to look at you because it's something that is understood. Then a woman must adopt simplicity over here, over there, not by abandoning her zina, but by concealing her zina. Just make a correction. No one is abandoning zina, but concealing it. It was underneath, like how Aisha radiallahu anha, she was wearing jewelry, like inside her jalbab. The wives of Prophet ﷺ and establish pray and give zakah and obey Allah and His Messenger. The wives of Prophet ﷺ are being addressed over here. That give zakah and obey Allah and His Messenger. Meaning just because he is your husband, don't forget to treat him as a prophet as well. He's a prophet, right? ﷺ. And he is after all the messenger of Allah. So whatever he commands you as a prophet, then make sure you obey him. Allah intends only to remove from you the impurity of the sin, O people of Prophet household, and purify you with extensive purification. وَأَطِيعْنَا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهَ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمْ رِجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. So here, family of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But this ayah people misquote and misunderstand about Ahle Bayt. Why we are all these commands given here to oppress the best women? No. Not let them come to the forefront to prevent their advancement, their progress. No way. I mean, we see Aisha radiallahu anha, who does not know her name. Which Muslim doesn't know her name? Like seriously, Hafsa radiallahu anha, which Muslim does know her name? I mean, this is something that is understood. The wives of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they are well respected in their contribution, for their knowledge, for their sacrifices, for whatever they did. They are appreciated, they are well known, but they did not offer their services by compromising on haya. They never compromise on haya, on modesty. No, they did not. And this is something we need to learn from them. Remember, because you see, for a woman to display herself, tabarruj, this is something that attracts attention immediately. Like within seconds, within no time, you put a picture of beautiful woman on a front cover page. On a front cover page of a magazine, right? For example, you cover photo, right? You just put that up. What happens? People will instantly click on it. Who is this person? Do I know them, right? It happens, but there is no picture, no face. Then people have to look at you, okay? what is this person saying, who are they, what are they even doing, then okay, read what they write, then check what they say. This is what really promoting the work and not the person. This is what we need to think about. Let's not be concerned about promoting ourselves. We need to be concerned about promoting the message of the. We need to become real contributors, not by displaying ourselves, but by highlighting our work, by doing our work with excellence. And this is what we need to do. So over here we see the reason that is given, that the hikmah behind all of this command is that Allah wishes to keep the family of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam clean. He wishes to keep the wives of Prophet ﷺ pure. Because you see, when something is displayed, when it is freely publicized, then does it lose dignity also? Yeah, it does. I mean, think about it. Have you ever seen those bushes with advertisement and that some of the things when you see some huge vehicles which ads on it, do you watch them? Or I'm talking about the big billboards when you're passing by, do you notice that? You do, right? The same way. So even for small ad, we display like a beautiful woman and everybody is watching that, and it is like a apparent, isn't it? So the fact is, when something is freely publicized, it loses its dignity, right? Why is it that certain products, when they are to be released, not even an image is leaked out, is sent, is shown? Why? Because eventually, after months, then an image is released, then finally a product is displayed. Why is it that? Because eyes even stain, because remember, sight even stain. It does. That's why Jannah, there are blessings that no eyes has seen, no eyes has ever seen. So we see over here that the dirty eyes of men, they can set up upon a woman, that this can be source of shar for her. It's kind of filth. So the wives of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam are ordered over here to preserve their dignity. How? By keeping themselves protected from the filthy eyes of men. Cover yourself, guard yourself, protect yourself in a way that the dirty eyes of women don't even set upon you. And especially if a woman goes out displaying herself, then this is worse. So here in ayah number 33, we have seen in the detail, remain in your home and do not display your beauty, as it used to be displayed in the days of Jahiliya, ignorance. And after that, hukum for waqimus salata wa atus zakat, establish salah and zakah, and wa ati'na Allah wa rasuluh, obey Allah and His Messenger. And Allah intends, innama yuridullah, Allah intends to keep all sorts of filth away from you, our members of family of the Prophet, and to make you pure through a perfect purification. And some of the different sect of people, they take this ayah in a different manner and they code it for Ahle Bayt, only the family of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, like all the wives of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and their own family, but they code for the Panjatul Pak. That is incorrect. And they add few people and they remove few people. Let's not talk about it, but because it was not authentic though. So this is the ayah number 33, and in ayah number 34 there are few more hukum are given in 34, and inshallah we'll do later ayah number 34. Jazakallah khair.